Hey, it's Naomi Lynn from Light 98.7, and it's Friday, which means it's another Firefighter Friday. Now we're here with Jack Graham. Jack, what fire department do you volunteer for?
With the Old Forge Fire Department and with the Ambulance Corps in Old Forge.
Okay, and how long have you been there?
Well, I have to qualify. With them, I've been there since 1996. Prior to that, in '70, I joined the Whitesboro Fire Department before moving to up north in Inlet. I was in Inlet Fire Department, then come down in '74 to Old Forge. I was in Old Forge Fire Department until 1979, at which time I joined the State Troopers, and I had somewhat of a ridiculous rule where you can't be a state trooper and belong to the fire department at the same time.
Really?
Yes.
Never heard that rule.
Yeah. In 1996, that rule was actually challenged by a trooper that was a fire chief, and obviously the judge thought it was a ridiculous rule at the same time. And, he said no longer can the state trooper say you can't belong to the fire department. So it's been since 1996 that I've...
Wow. But you have been, in the firefighting business for quite some time.
1970, I believe.
Wow. Now, can you run through a regular, typical day at the station? I mean, I'm sure there's not ever a regular, typical day, but...
And there isn't. And it's all volunteer fire department. So there's many days where you probably don't even go to the fire. You wait till you get called, and that could be any time of the night or day.
Right.
Usually it's when you're sleeping, between 11 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning.
Of course, and give you major credit for that, being willing to wake up and take those calls.
It's part of the job, I guess.
Yeah.
People just can't schedule when they're going to be sick or get hurt or have
right,
fire,
that's true.
You respond to the call. We, the Old Forge Fire Department, responds right to the station because that's where our gear is. Other departments have different rules. There's assigned truck operators where they actually drive the fire vehicle to the scene, whether it's a fire, and you take care of that. You could be there for 5 minutes for a false alarm, or you could be there for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
At a working structure fire, at a bad accident, what have you. That's half the job. Then you go back and clean all your equipment, clean all the vehicles, do your truck reports, sign your rosters, and then you go home, wait for the next call.
That's something I would not have thought about, like cleaning the trucks and taking care of all that stuff after every call?
After every call. After every call, each truck gets washed and cleaned. Whatever equipment you used, make sure it's put back in whatever truck and in the proper area of the truck. And,
right.
And if it's dirty, you clean that also. So.
Wow. That's one I didn't know. Yeah. Now, what about a memorable moment on the job? Something good, something bad, just something that just always sticks out to you. I'm sure there's hundreds.
There are.
Yeah.
And I think I can categorize all the moments. They're all memorable, but when people actually look at you and say thank you. We've had bad fires, we've had bad accidents.
Right.
There were people who have been saved, or property have been saved, but I think when they say thank you, that's the best.
Yeah, definitely. Especially showing that gratitude and in such a situation. It's an emergency.
We always thought of it as a person's worst moment that you're going to.
Right.
And you're trying to help them. And some of them can say thank you, and some do later. But some of them, just by the looks in their face, they know that, they appreciate you.
Right. Definitely. So we spoke on the phone before the interview, mentioning the need for firefighters. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes. Like I say, it's so different today than it was 30, 40 years ago. The nuclear family was a lot different. The dynamics were a lot different. 80% of the fire departments or firefighters in the United States are volunteer, with 20% being paid. And from that time until now, there's actually 15% decrease in the amount of firefighters.
Wow.
And if you have people join the fire department, in our experience in Old Forge, that's a small town. The young people, we have a youth program, they come in and join when they're 14 now. Actually don't put fires or anything until they're 18.
Right.
At which time they leave for college. That they're gone 4 years. Very few of them return to a forge. Very few of them return to any, their particular area. They're grouping towards the cities where their jobs are.
Right.
So we're losing a lot of people. And then the older guys, like myself, sooner or later just physically can't do it anymore.
Right.
And, those ranks are hard to fill.
Yeah. It seems like things are changing.
And we need firefighters. And I'm not saying it's drastic, but, we gotta start thinking outside the box to get people to join the fire department.
Right. Definitely.
There's a lot of work being a volunteer firefighter. There's an incredible amount of training. And that's, people would look at the training in a different perspective, not how to fight fires, but 95% of the training is to keep you safe.
Right.
Training you to keep you safe. So it's different today.
And it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, it is.
But it pays off.
It's so gratifying. It really is to me. I mean, you're helping your community. You're helping people, and at the end of the day, you feel good about yourself. At least I do.
So does being in the old forge area in the mountains, does that give you any unique obstacles to firefighting?
Yes, because, for the most part, you don't know a lot of the people that you're helping, which it doesn't matter anyhow. But the unique calls are usually water rescues, bald mountain rescues, which are the young people need to do that. I mean, somebody gets on top of the mountain and breaks your leg, and there's only one way down.
Oh my goodness.
And it's an hour climb when you got good legs and you're trying to bring somebody down on a stretcher. But those are unique calls.
That just gave me goosebumps.
We do a lot of bald mountain rescues.
Wow.
A lot of them. And it's 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes, getting up there and bringing somebody down.
Well, thank you, Jack, for coming in, sharing your story with us, for all that you do in the community, how you were a police officer before, still as a firefighter. We're proud and we want to recognize and feature you for Firefighter Friday.
There is one thing I do want to say.
Okay.
I came in here with the sole purpose of hoping we could, maybe lure 1 or 2 or 10 people into any given fire department in your community. But sitting here being recognized is great. I understand that. But for everybody that sits in this chair, there's 1,000 other people out there that deserve just as much, or if not more. There's firefighters do a lot more than I do. So, and I just want to say that.